I'm not one of those people that will tell you, oh, don't come to Canada, don't come to North America, don't leave your home country, it's bad, and I'm still here and I'm not going anywhere for now. I'm not one of those people. This is going to be a light-hearted video, and it's just going to be a video telling you things you don't want to know, but that will help you. Anyway, welcome back to my channel. My name is Feyi Mac. I film from Toronto, Canada, and I share videos on my life in Canada as a new immigrant so that you can learn from my experience and the experiences of those around me. I already made a video on the reasons to move to Canada, and you guys were like, oh, that's great, that's awesome. And then I asked you, would you like a video on why not to move to Canada? And you guys were like, yes, please tell us. Some people were like, they're scared, they don't want to know. But you know what, I'll tell you anyway, okay? I have a whole list, a very long list. I might actually have to divide this video into two. So here is part one, and basically, I'm giving you the reasons why not to move to Canada. Let's get right into it. Now, majority of these tips were not even brought up by me. It came up as a conversation on one of the groups I'm on. All the points here, well, most of the points here are from people on the group that I'm on that are supporting new immigrants to Canada and helping. Just, you know, these are people that have moved here about 2 years ago and a year ago, some even 3 years ago. So yeah, it's a fun group, and we came up with this list for you. So I hope you enjoy. Like, you guys, give this video a thumbs up, because a group of 256 people brought this list to you, okay? These are people that have experienced it all, and this is a unanimous list. You can't get this anywhere else. Let's get into it. I don't want to ramble. Number one is if you're making a massive salary in your home country. First of all, let me tell you, all the tips here, they're going to be controversial, you know, because of course some people are going to tell you it's not all about money. Of course we know that, but again, these are people that have been here, done that, okay? If you're in the kind of job that gives you some kind of salaries that are unheard of, okay, Canada might not be for you, because when you come here, it might not be easy for you to make that kind of salary and have access to the kind of funds you would have access to in your home country. So if you're making massive salary in Nigeria or in your home country, think twice before you up and move, okay? To actually find out information about salaries, average salaries in Canada, you can use glassdoor.ca. You can just search like your role, and it's going to show you the average salaries that they pay for those jobs, so you can see by yourself and compare. Some people were making more in Nigeria and spending less than they're making here. So basically in Nigeria they're earning more in salary, whether in dollars or naira, and they have lower expenses because the bills are lower. Meanwhile here, they're earning less and they have higher expenses. So some people could add up, you understand? So so it depends on really what you want, but that is information that you should know. Number two, if you're used to being pampered, think twice. Now, this is what I mean. In Canada, you will learn how to be a carpenter. You will learn how to be a snow shoveler or a lawnmower. You will learn how to do a lot of things by yourself that ordinarily in your home country, you might have domestic staff to help you with. One important part is child caring as well. So if you're used to, you know, waking up and your house help has made you breakfast and lunch is already on the way, and you know they've laid out your clothes or they've ironed your clothes, and you go out, you want to step out, you have your driver, you have your gate man opening the gate for you. You know, in Nigeria, labor is cheap, right? So in your home country, if labor is cheap and you're used to living like a king or queen, even if you're not wealthy, you can still live like a king or queen in some countries. But here, labor is not cheap. It's not easy to have a maid. It's quite expensive to have a maid. It's very expensive to have a driver. Like you hardly see people that have drivers. Do you understand? Like if you feel like being pampered, then you take an Uber. that is it. Like if you're used to being pampered in that way, if you're used to everybody doing things for you, if you've not washed clothes in a long time or done your own laundry with washing machine or whatever, if you're not used to doing your own dishes, all of that stuff, think twice, because when you come and they deliver your furniture to you and you have to be knocking nail and hammer, then you realize that fuck up. Number 3, if your job or business prospects in your home country are extremely high, then think twice about coming to Canada, because sometimes when you move here, you might have to start afresh. It's a new terrain, new environment. It will take time to build up, from the ground up, or continue from wherever you stopped in your home country. So if you have very, very high business prospects back home or job prospects, think twice about moving to Canada. Or better still, even if you have to move, maybe for other reasons best known to you, don't cut ties with those people who can help you have those good prospects in your home country. Some people get lucky such that when they move here, they actually even just move up the ladder. Like, they move up the ladder in the industry, in the field that they want, and they're lucky enough to do that. But some people, like me, I went to school 2 times. Some people, we're just finding our feet. We've had to have our different strategies and plans in place. You have to be very strategic. So at the same time, you have to be patient, because like I said before, some people apply for 100 jobs per day and it's rejection upon rejection, right? So you have to be patient and know that your own will come. You have to know that not everybody is going to be lucky enough to start from where they stopped, or be able to even promote themselves before having to do anything, right? Some people have to go through a process, and it's very important for you to be patient during that process and understand that it's part of the journey. Don't beat yourself up. That's what I would say. And that ties into the next point. If you're not strong mentally, if you're not strong mentally, I don't know what to say about this, because it's very important to have A1 mental before you relocate to Canada. Because like I said, Canada would humble you. Like, if you're the kind of person that, you're proud or something, like even aside pride, just Canada will humble you. Canada will humble anybody. Do you understand? You hear this a lot from new immigrants. It's not a joke. So make sure that you're A1 here, you're patient, and you're able to actually be mindful of your mental health. It's very important to be mindful of your mental health. Very important. Winter blues is a big thing. Once it starts snowing, it's cold, it's dark for three quarters of the day. It's dark for 3/4 of the day. It can be depressing. Like I won't lie, it can be very, it can mess you up, so you just have to make sure that you're A1 up there. So do everything you need to do to make sure that you're keeping your mental health on point. And that leads me to my next point. If you're not good with uncertainties, if you're not okay with being uncertain about certain things, then Canada might not be for you. I mean, not even just Canada, just relocation in general might not be for you. If you're very big on planning, like I'm big on planning, but moving here, I knew that there was the possibility of just starting my life afresh, and that was okay by me. So a lot of people don't have to start afresh. Some people have to, but there's a level of uncertainty that you have to be comfortable with to relocate to a new country in the first place. So if you're not comfortable with that, you might want to sit put in your home country. Okay, number 5 is kind of funny, and I'm going to read it out from my phone. So number 5, if you and your spouse have not agreed, written and signed how the household should be managed. This one I'm laughing because one of the previous points was that if you're used to being pampered, then this might not be for you. It kind of ties in here because I know the way that people split, household responsibilities in terms of financials, in terms of house chores, with the gender roles and all that jazz, this Canada is going to shake a lot of families up. It's going to shake up the norm because it's very difficult to survive on one stream of income here. So it's very important for both spouses, if possible, if childcare is taken care of, to actually be working and have multiple streams of income. So this basically shakes up the entire institution of what you might be used to from your home country, where you usually have help and all of that. But if you guys have not talked about it and agreed that, okay, this is how we are going to do it, this person said you should write it down and sign. But obviously that's a joke. But you guys, if you're married, you have to talk about how you're going to run your household, because it's a whole different ball game. And that brings us to the next point. If you have more than one toddler, come on guys, like, okay, this one is funny because I'm sure the person that wrote this had more than one toddler when they moved, and that's why they're saying don't come to Canada if you have more than one toddler. Abort mission. You know what? Of course, this, don't take it too seriously, but it's kind of true because you don't have any family or friends here to help you. If you don't, and if you do, chances are that they're hustling, they're busy with their 9 to 5, and they're also doing a side hustle from 6 to something to keep up with the bills and be able to, put food on their table. So you can't really rely on your family and friends sometimes. You can sometimes, but not all the time. So keep in mind that if you have more than one toddler, first of all, like, I don't know what we'll have to give. Like, maybe somebody would have to stay at home, and that means there's only one person bringing in money. Or maybe you guys would have to pay for daycare if there's no daycare subsidy. For you guys, if you don't qualify for daycare subsidy, you guys know that's at least like 1,000 to 1,500 a month per child for daycare. So think about it. I wouldn't go as far as saying don't come because of that, but you guys, again, write it down and sign. In fact, put a seal on it to determine how you're going to handle this, because it's expensive and it can be terrifying. It can be terrifying if you don't have any help. In Nigeria, you gotta drop your child with your neighbor or your cousin that lives down the road, or your sister that lives there. People don't have time for that. It's very important for you to have plans in place if you have one toddler, talk less of more than one toddler. Okay, my next point is if you're not ready to unlearn and relearn certain things. Now, be from Nigeria, there are a lot of things that you have to unlearn. If not, the culture will shock you. Do you understand? Like, when they say culture shock, it's not a joke. Okay, like, it's not a joke. You need to be able to unlearn anything that does not embrace diversity and inclusion. I would put it like that. If you're the kind of person that feels like a woman's place is somewhere and a man's place is somewhere, blah 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 blah, bruh, you're in for a good shock. Do you understand? Like, you're in for a surprise. So if you feel like, oh yeah, the kind of person that is macho and any small thing punching and all those kind of bro, you're going to ruin your life. So don't even bother coming. Don't even bother coming. And I know I'm saying this like I'm saying it in a funny way, but it's a serious matter, because is jail. 911 is not far. Do you understand? If you're the kind of person that you don't know how to ask for consent before you do anything, Canada is not for you, and any country you are in itself is not for you, because you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. So you need to really unlearn and relearn how to be a responsible member of the society, whether you're even in Canada or not. You need to learn how to be a responsible member of the society, period. Canada is not for you if you don't know how to be humble. Now, this point, it ties into so many different things. And I've said before, Canada will humble you. Now, even if you've gotten to a stage where, yes, you've gotten a good job, you're in a good line, you have good prospects, you still have to be very humble, because who are you proud for? Like, who are you being proud to? Do you understand? Like, you have to be humble, because explain it. Even with your good job and stuff, like people that have good jobs, they still drive Uber, they do different side hustles. You can't be looking down on an Uber driver or looking down on someone that is delivering your food. That person might be a senior engineer in a company and you wouldn't even know. Do you understand? That person might be your interviewer in a job, with the job that you're going to look for. Do you understand? So you have to be humble. You don't know who is who. When you're on the train, you could be on the train with executives. Nobody is forming levels. Do you understand? All these levels, all these levels thing. Just leave it. Just leave it. If you don't know how to leave it, just stay where you are, because you have to be humble. Though. Humility is very important because you really don't know who is who. And if you think you've arrived, there are people that have arrived more than you. So what do you want to do? With my one call, do you understand? Like, you just have to calm down and be humble. And that ties into the next point. And the next point is, if you don't know how to be polite to people, regardless of age, status, and achievements, or whatever you think you've achieved. If you don't know how to be polite to people, Canada is not for you, and that is the honest truth. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. I know this is a lighthearted video, but if you don't know how to be polite to people in general, period, then you're going to be weird, because Canadians are very polite. Very, very polite. You're going to hear a lot of people say Canadians are very nice. You know, sometimes, again, it might be fake, sometimes it might be real, but even when it's fake, they're still extremely polite. Do you understand? So you cannot just come and then be looking at age, or be looking at status, or be looking at, you know, your job or anything to determine who you'll be polite to and who you wouldn't. You need to be able to treat people equally. Your boss at work might be 20 years younger than you, a fresh graduate even. Do you understand? So calm down. You will have to calm down. You will have to calm down, because you have to be polite to everyone. And this is a skill that everybody should. It's not even a skill. It should just be a life principle. It should just be natural. You shouldn't be rude to people just because you're older than them. If you're all this, are we age mates? Do you know what I've achieved? We are not on the same frequency. Do you know who I am? You will hate Canada. So if you're like that, you will hate Canada. So let me just tell you now, don't even bother, because go work. Okay, number 13 is if you cannot cope with the cold. And me, I've talked about this. You guys know I hate cold, first of all. I've talked about this in at least 3 videos, so I'm not going to emphasize it again, okay? But if you don't like cold, you might want to reconsider, or at least think about where you want to go. If you don't like cold and you go to Winnipeg or Saskatchewan or Alberta, like, these are places with extreme weather. Albertans will disagree that they will say they should not be categorized with Manitoba and Saskatchewan, but you know, it is what it is. Just go to BC, JJ, British Columbia, where, you know, the weather is, it gets cold, but it's still relatively warmer. This next point is making me laugh. So if you don't know how to talk without shouting, Nigerian parents, African parents, I mean, no sub or anything, no shade, but if you don't know how to talk and communicate without shouting, if you don't know how to receive phone calls without shouting, what's your problem? What's the problem? You know, yeah, you're good. People are going to be looking at you crazy. They're going to be looking at you funny. This was just a funny point, because you have to learn how to adapt to where you are. But if you don't know how to make points without shouting, and see, the police will be at your door knocking, because guess what? Your Oyibo neighbor has called 911. Excuse me, I'm hearing some noise in the other apartment. Can you come check it out, please? They've called the cops on you and you don't even know it. You don't even know who did it. Like, that's the thing. People just call the cops and you don't even know who. Like, we've heard of situations where Nigerian guys will just be walking on the street and they're gisting and laughing. They're like, ha ha ha, everything, gisting, having a good time. And someone thinks, oh, maybe they're fighting. Someone thinks they're fighting because they're speaking loudly, or even at work. Like, they can think you're maybe being aggressive or something because you're speaking so loudly. You have to be careful, tone it down. myself, I need to work on it because like during game nights and things like that, we make a lot of noise. So sometimes your neighbors would actually knock and be like, "Oh, please, can you keep it down?" Some of them will just call the cops and that's it. Like you get a warning. Like they come and they check what's up, you know? And that's not nice. You don't want to be that neighbor that is just loud and always making noise, right? So be a good neighbor. Stop shouting. But yeah, if you don't know how to control that, the volume of your voice, maybe it's not for you. So the next point says if you're an extrovert, aka the O and B type. Now, this one I'm a bit on the fence about it because if you come to Toronto, the O and B's who like their parties and some of them will start at midnight, some of them will start at 11 p.m. 60th birthday party, you know, all of that. 10 days. Just that when you're new in the country, you don't really know that many people to even get invited to these parties. So if you're the type that likes, you know, Saturdays, hashtag Saturdays are for wedding gang or Saturdays are for O and B gang, at first you might not like it here. So I don't know, just make friends so that you can get invited to these Etobicoke Toronto parties. But outside of Toronto, I don't know that they're O and B's. Like I spent 3 years in Nova Scotia and I don't think I attended one. And you know, O and B too pass O and B. In Toronto, all these big mummies they have good O and B, plenty food, proper amala and everything. So if you're an O and B type, think about the province you want to go to very well, okay? And if you know that Canada will be too dull for you, just stay where you are because it can get dull here, especially during winter. It can get pretty boring. So if you're an O and B type, think about it. Okay guys, we're gonna stop here for today just because like this video is getting too long. I hope you enjoyed it though because it's pretty lighthearted and I hope you had fun and laughed because honestly, don't take this too seriously. These are things that you can adjust along the line. Hopefully you know yourself better, but yeah, these are things that you can adjust, but in as much as many of them are delivered as jokes, they're actually kind of serious, you know. So these are things that you also should learn from. But yes, I'll come back with part 2 in my next video. I hope you really liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, share this video so that your friends can know. If you have friends that shout, if you have friends that are always asking if they're your mates or if they're on the same level as you, if you know those kind of people, please share this video with them if they're trying to move to Canada because it's going to be a culture shock, okay? But yeah, this video is just here to reduce the impact of culture shock. Everybody will be fine at the end of the day. I really hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you in part 2 in my next video.